Stephenson House. I'm glad to see you. Now, looking around the kitchen, this was a center for lots of different things. Like we did make candles in here, see over here, and we probably in the wintertime maybe people took baths in here because it was warmer when they didn't bathe as often as we do. Do you have a question?
Where did they bathe?
Well, they had a tub, you know, a tin tub, and we heat water over the fire, and then we fill it up with warm water, and then the whole family would use the water. And the last person to get the bath would guess. Who would you guess would be the last one? Yeah.
The men.
Well, maybe the baby of the family, the youngest member, probably, or would probably use it. And then people used to say, what do they say about baby? Don't throw the baby out with the bath water. You know, that's where that. Maybe you guys haven't even heard that one. Mom and Dad, parents seem to have heard it. So over in this end of the table we were working on preserving food and also in making soup, because whenever, yes, question.
Well, last year I came here and we strung apples.
Yes, that's part of preserving food. See up there? And what happens with the dried apples? If you wanted to cook something with them, we're cooking today. What happens with them?
You could like, it just.
They're dry, and so when you put them in some hot water, what's going to happen to them? What do you think?
They boil?
Well, we just like put them in a dish and then we pour some hot water on them. What do you think?
Don't they turn back into like moist apples?
Yes, because what will they do with the water that's put on them? They will absorb the water, right? And then there'll be apples, and we can make apple pie or something. And here's the soup pot. We always kept a pot of soup here in the kitchen, and we were always cooking soup and adding. You know, you had some leftovers from breakfast or anything. You just throw it in the soup, and so anybody who can stop by, and lots of people would stop by, you know, and have a meal here. So there was always soup on the hearth for them. And this is the kind of pan that we use. These were all made by hand by blacksmiths. It's called cast iron. You don't see it too many. You might have a cast iron skillet in your house, or you might not. But I always do it. Yes.
At my house we have like this red cast iron pot, and we use it for.
It
like,
has enamel on the outside. Yes, right. Well, that's a fancy thing that comes from France, where they started putting enamel. I don't think they did that here. All of ours are just this regular cast iron from 1820. Now today we're going to make some biscuits. Now, how does your mom make biscuits? Does she ever make biscuits? Or pancakes? Oh, does your mom make biscuits or pancakes?
No, but don't you bake biscuits by using dough?
Yes, you do. You make dough. We're going to make some dough. What were you going to say?
My mom makes pancakes and biscuits.
Oh, she has Biscuit?
Yeah.
Biscuit? Yes, yes. What were you going to say?
My grandpa makes really good biscuits and gravy.
Oh, that's good. That's a traditional dish. The Stephensons probably ate biscuits and gravy. What were you going to say?
My grandpa makes pancakes from scratch.
That's what we're going to do today, from scratch. You do too? Okay. Okay, well, these are biscuits, so they're rolls. So we're going to make a pan of biscuits here. And the first thing we want to do is grease the pan. Now, the recipe calls for greasing the pan. Who wants to help grease the pan? Not everybody can do everything. You want to do? Want to help? Okay, you have to take a piece of the butter. Just maybe this one that I have right here is fine. And then you have to rub it around the pan. And then who else wants to help grease the pan? You want to? Okay, here. Now you grease around. Just be sure it's well greased, because what will happen if you don't grease the pan? This is a tin pan. This is also in 1820 would have been made by somebody by hand, not in a factory here. Would you like to help with that? Now there's lots of other things to do, so we're just about got the pan greased here. Now if you want to wash your hands, we're letting you use our dishwasher today to wash your hands. So here's the dish. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't this pan? Because we're wealthy, we don't have to go down and find a stream and wash our on my shoulder too if you want to. Okay, is the pan, is it greased? Yes. So we'll just put the butter back here because we save every little bit. We don't, yes.
What happens if you don't grease it?
What happens?
It sticks to the pan.
It sticks to the pan. Okay, so that's why we have to do it well. Now, the biscuit recipe is 2 cups of flour. Yes?
Oh, I'm just gonna add some.
Okay, you didn't grease the pan, did you?
No.
Okay. Now, these are the kind of cups that people would use after the Stephenson House, aren't they? They're all, this is how much? 1 cup, and this is a half cup, right? And we need to use both 1 cup and a half cup in this recipe. But this is the kind of measuring cup that they used in the time of the Stephensons. Now, if you want to look around, on this and see if you can see where it's marked, that how much to use. Like if you're getting a cup of flour, where's there a mark on that cup?
Right there.
Yes, right there. So when you're filling it with flour, here's the flour. Do you want to put some flour in it? Yeah, come here. Okay. Now, here, you have to put the spoon in the flour, and then you have to hold the cup here, and then you have to see the mark inside. It's right, see right there? See that mark here? And this cup, again, was made by someone. It's made of tin. It was probably made by a blacksmith or a tinsmith. People who made utensils like this were called tinsmiths. So if you know anybody with the last name of Smith, it probably means that in their family history they had someone who did this kind of work. Maybe they were a gunsmith or a tinsmith. There's other kinds of smiths, but that means they worked with the fire and the metal and made tools and different things. Blacksmith. Could have been we had a blacksmith in Edwardsville until about 1920 because he shod horses. People still had horses. They went to the blacksmith. Okay, look at this. Pass this around. Now see, there's 1 cup. See? See, that's all right. That's just water. We spill things here. This is a waterproof floor. There was a creek running right by here, and it's possible maybe floors would have gotten really wet with people going through the creek all the time. You see the mark? Did you see it?
I didn't get it.
Okay. Okay, you want to measure the second?
Sure.
Who wants to pour it in? How about you pour it in? George? You pour it in. That's 1 cup. What? Well, did you grease the pan? Okay, who didn't get, okay, go ahead. It's really nice when boys cook, you know. It's a very, very good thing to know how to do. Did you know that? Like, have you heard the word chef? Usually it's often a guy who's a really great cook. Okay, now do you want to measure 1 cup? Just as carefully as you can. And this flour, where would we get this flour? Now do you see the mark in there? Okay, that's it. Now, this flour would have come from a mill on Cahokia Creek. Do you know where Cahokia Creek is in Edwardsville? Where is it? Okay, we go north, south, east, west. And if we're driving down Main Street, we're driving north, right? And if we're going to Wood River,
I go there all the time.
do you? Do you know where Cahokia Creek is?
No.
You probably aren't looking out the window. Maybe you're watching driving because you're, what were you going to
I
say?
know where Cahokia Mounds is.
I've been
Okay,
there.
that's named partly for Cahokia Creek, but that's all the way south of here. Right. Well, this creek flows by here north of town. And so the mill, which used power of the water turning a wheel, and then it turned to stone inside and ground up people's wheat. And people would usually 1 to 10 acres around here was about all they could do by hand. And they would bring in their wheat and put it under the stone, and then the water would grind it. And then they'd brush it into the flour. So it wouldn't be quite as nicely ground as it would have probably pieces of wheat in it. Yes.
Well, I'm kind of looking around it, and I see
Here,
that
pour it in.
the cast iron over there, like the thing you put over the fire and make sandwiches with.
Yeah.
I use those at Girls' House all the time.
Yeah. Okay, now, if you're making things, yes.
I'm pretty good at making pumpkin pie, if I do say so myself. Because I did make a good pumpkin pie once.
Good. It's a delicious pie, isn't it?
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't like pumpkin pie.
Okay, now if you're making these things from scratch, to make it rise up, do you know what you put in? What?
Yeast.
Oh, you could put in yeast is one thing you could put in. But we didn't have yeast in 1820, so what we might do is we might have some grapes and water in a jar. And with mixed with a little flour, and we might add some of that, but that would make sourdough biscuits for us. Yeah. Is that correct, Roseanne? I think it is. Yeah. So, anyway, but what do we put in today that we didn't have in 1820? It comes in a little can. You stick the measuring spoon. You know what it is?
Dough?
No, dough doesn't come in a little can. It's an ingredient, a part of the recipe. Like we have one ingredient in here, the flour, 2 cups of flour. What? We're going to put butter in. That's an ingredient. You said you make from scratch. What do you put in to make it rise up?
I usually
A teaspoon of anybody make?
rice.
Well, no, that's going to make it rise. Okay, I was talking about what?
Maybe like mix or batter or yeast or
Baking soda.
Yes, we could put in baking soda or baking powder, but we didn't have either of those in 1820. So what we put in to make it rise are a couple of eggs. Yeah, and so who didn't grease the pan? You didn't grease the pan, did you? Did you grease the pan? Did you grease the pan? Come here.
oh, I didn't get it.
Did you grease the pan?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you break this one in. What we usually do, we have to do this, is I want you to look at these eggs. They're chicken eggs. Yes, how do you know they're chicken eggs?
Because they're brown, not white.
Yes, they're brown, and these are from a farm outside of Edwardsville, and they're smaller really than even the small eggs you buy in the store, and they're different sizes. Some of the yolks will be bigger and some will be smaller. And we always, in 1820, when we had chicken eggs, we don't do this now with ones in the store because they're from industrial farms, and each egg goes through a process of looking inside. But these, we always break it in here and dump it in to make sure that there's not a baby chicken inside. You don't want that in our biscuits, okay? So here, go ahead. You know how to break an egg?
I know.
One here and then pull it apart. And you put it in the dish first and then dump it in there. Somebody else can dump it in there. You can break these, 2 of you can break these. You're gonna break the next one, right, good. Okay, now does this one have a baby chicken inside? No. It's pretty good, it has a broken yolk. Might be a little old, but we're gonna use it anyway. Okay, now you break this one. Now, wait, we have to dump this one in. Who wants to dump it? Who hasn't done anything yet? You haven't done anything, okay. Dump it in. I want everybody to do. Now you crack the egg. Hold it with just one hand and go plonk, and then with your 2 fingers here, pull it apart. It's kind of fun. Yes. See, this is where you cracked it. Put your thumbs right there and pull it apart. Push them in. You'll have to push through the membrane. The membrane on the inside of the shell on these eggs. Oopsie, that's all right. We're not going to waste this egg. Look, it doesn't have a baby chicken in it. Here we go. There we go. We've got it. Thank you. Thank you. Now, you can always wash your hands. Be in the dishwasher right over there. Okay, now who hasn't done any? You haven't done anything.
Yeah, I have. I put
Have
that.
you? Okay, who hasn't done it? Why don't you pour it in? Oh, is there an eggshell? Well, reach in and get it. You don't want an eggshell in the biscuits, for God's sakes. You could have an eggshell in the biscuits. There probably were eggshells in the biscuits. But, okay. Yes.
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
Number 1, how old are those eggs?
Oh, how old are these eggs? I'd say these days old. We get them from Mr. Russo, and he delivered them about 5 days ago. So they're all right. And have they been refrigerated? Yes, they've been refrigerated. Where would they be refrigerated at the Stephenson House?
In the
Yes.
ice house.
Well, if it was winter, they might be refrigerated. They might have some ice, yes. But in winter, the chickens aren't really laying too many eggs either. So that where might they put it?
I have the other question. What are we gonna do with the biscuits when we're done?
We're gonna make them. Well, we can't make them today. We're not a restaurant. You know, we don't have the rules for a restaurant. When we bake things, people always want to eat them, and we can't let our guests eat what's cooked here because of the rules for modern restaurants. That's a good question, but we're getting back to where would we put the eggs if we wanted to keep them fresh in the hot summers around here. Was there air conditioning in the Stephenson House?
No.
No. So where do you think?
In the cellar.
In the cellar is one place, yes. There was a cellar, a dugout place. Yeah, there was a dugout. Almost every place had a dugout place where things could be kept cool. Where's another place we could put them?
I actually had a question.
Oh, okay.
What are those stairs for?
The servants of the Stephensons lived upstairs here. And when you come for another tour, you probably get to go upstairs. But anyway, the other place we could put them is right outside the window here. We could put them in a bucket down in what?
In the well.
No. What's outside?
The
The
barrel?
well. Yes, we could put them down in the well to keep them cool in a bucket. We put them in a bucket, not full of water, but just in there to keep cool. So, okay, now, the recipe also calls for 1/2 cup of milk. And since we only have one measuring cup, we're gonna use this. And who hasn't done anything yet? Have you not done anything? Okay, here's the milk in here, and pour 1/2 cup. It's kind of heavy. Now think how you're going to do it. I know you'll do it. Okay, pour 1/2 cup of milk in there. Okay, that's good. Now can you carefully lift it up and dump it in, and then everybody, dump it in. And now it also calls for 1 ounce of butter. That's about 1 tablespoon of butter. That's the butter. So we can try mixing the butter in. Now, everyone will have to get their hands dirty if you really want to do this. If you don't want to do this, you can mix it first, but you have to mix the butter in with your hands. Okay, well who wants to mix it, kind of mix it together first a little bit? And then who wants to mix in the butter?
Ellen, I don't think he's done anything yet. Have you done anything yet? He's not done
Oh, you
anything.
haven't done anything, okay.
I will stir it.
Okay, just stir it, good, fine. That's very good. Just stir it a little bit.
It's like not
Yeah.
sugary cookies.
Yeah. Sometimes we mix the butter in with the flour, just the flour. We're not putting any baking soda or baking powder in because they weren't invented. We're putting in the egg because that will make it rise up a little bit.
So you leave the butter in there?
No, you don't. You have to use your hands and go like this.
Isn't that butter?
And did the Stephensons know about germs? That's an interesting thing. No, they didn't know about germs, did they? Did they have to wash their hands and sing happy birthday?
No.
No, they didn't.
I think there's
So-
a piece of butter in there.
Yes, there is, and that's what the rest of you are gonna do. Anybody else wanna mix before we, okay, we'll just pass the bowl around, and you can all mix it. I'll show you how to do it. You gotta get every little scrap off the spoon, because we don't like to waste things here. Now first you take the butter and kind of break it up. It's been kept cool in the well, so it's not really quite room temperature, and we make little pieces like this, we break it up. And then you have to take your hands and scrunch it in to the biscuits. Okay, your hands will get stuck on them, and then you'll just go over to the dishwasher and wash your hands, okay? When you're done. Now, you can take a turn scrunching.
I have a question.
Yes.
What's in the closet?
That's that's just a general closet for the building. It has things like brooms to clean the building and things like that. Okay, we gotta pass it quickly. Yeah, just quickly take it off your hands. And if you wanna do it while the next person is squeezing, we have about 5 minutes. You didn't squeeze yet? Okay. Get in line over there. Everybody squeeze. And if you want it, you know, you may not be able to get it off your hands. You might just have to go over to the dishwasher and get it off. Now, see, it goes in a little easier. The butter goes in a little easier when you've mixed in the milk. But the other way of doing it is to squeeze it in to the dry flour, and your hands probably wouldn't get quite, okay. Everybody, you don't have to do this if you don't feel like doing it. You know. You know. Everybody, okay. Yeah, doesn't it feel weird? And it gets better and better. Now you'll get less. The first person's the one that really got their hands. Okay, now take your, who's in line here? Who wants to come first? Okay, let's move it over here. You want to do it? You don't have to do it. You don't want to. Now, some more. Try to get the flour off the sides of the pan. There. That's good. Yes, look, see, isn't that looking like a piece of dough now? Have you ever seen you ever make bread at your house? Or any kind of bread? Yeah. That's what it's supposed to look like. Okay, go ahead. Now that guy might be a chef someday. Yeah, there. Chefs always make really good bread. Oh, you want to be a big, well, this is good for your, you know. What do you want to do? You want to be a pitcher or a left fielder? Outfielder? Good. You go to baseball games? Here we go. That's good. Now see, it's almost ready to make into balls. Who wants to help make it into balls? Quick. Okay. Okay. Now just make it into balls and put it in the grease pan. Just, sure. Anybody wants to make it into balls, make, you know, put them in the pan. There. Okay. There. Good. Make them be touching. Anybody else want to? No. Okay. 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 Now we should. Now see, we have different sizes here. And I'm teaching. If I were teaching you to do this in the kitchen, you know, and you'd be doing it regularly, I'd say now this, and you're the servants, and I'd say, well, now the Stephensons want all their biscuits the same size. So you know, try to make them all the same size. But that's just something you learn with experience. You know. Pretty soon you could make up some things to add to the recipes too, and add some spices from the garden. Maybe you could put some carrots in the biscuits. Did you ever do that? Carrots? Yeah. No. Not carrots.
What do you cut? Like the
You know why don't we put sugar in the biscuits?
What would you use?
Yes. Scissors. This is our sugar. This is our sugar. Yeah, no, you can't grind it. You just have to kind of pick it off with this little tool. It's very laborious. It's called a panela, and it comes from these little places in Louisiana and maybe Mexico even, called paniches, where the trapiche, where they make the sugar, and it's just raw sugar. It's not like, what does the sugar look like when you buy it in the store today?
White.
It's white, or what other color could it be?
Brown.
It could be brown too, right? So we don't put sugar in the biscuits because it's very precious. This is very expensive. It has to come from a long ways away. Does anybody grow sugar in Edwardsville?
Yeah.
Do you know anything about sugar in their garden? Sugar cane?
Use that to grind up corn and
Okay.
stuff.
Everybody look at this. This is what we made. Isn't that lovely?
Thank
Look.
you.
And then I can tell you one more thing. We would put them in the oven. And the oven, if we were going to use it today, it would be full of coals, and it has coals in it now.
But that would be weird.
But you know, so we brush the coals out like this. And then when we had a clear spot, we might throw a little bit of flour in. And if the flour turned brown, we'd know it was ready. And if the flour stayed white or light brown like it is, we'd know it wasn't quite ready yet. But this oven is ready, and then we we'd set it in the oven. And then we wouldn't have a clock. Does your stove have a clock, or does your stove?
Yes.
Yes, but we don't have anything like that. It's disappeared, but we used to have a timer here.
Somewhere.
I haven't seen it for a while. But anyway, where you have sand flowing through a glass, and we would turn the timer upside down. And when the sand is all flowed through grass, an hourglass, that's right. Good, from the Wizard of Oz, great, good. Okay, so we use the hourglass, and that's how we know, or sometimes we just know from experience. We'd be busy running around doing other things, you know, stirring the soup, chopping up some vegetables, throwing in the bacon from breakfast and things like that. And then we'd smell, and we'd say, oh, the biscuits must be ready, and we'd take them out. So experience was very important for cooks then too. It's still important for people who are going to be cooks. Now, has everybody kind of washed their hands and used the dishwasher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not me.